Alright, Shimanko boys and girls. So today I'm gonna be talking about my addiction to pornography and kind of my experience of being addicted and what I've gone through and like my perspective on it now. And I hope that this will inspire someone to make a change in their life, because I know that a lot of people nowadays are addicted to pornography, and most kids are watching pornography, and some kids don't even fucking know that they're addicted, and that's the really messed up thing. But I know that some people, they're gonna reach out for help. They're gonna search YouTube videos or look on Reddit, and they're gonna try to find things that can maybe help them overcome their addiction. So I want to share my story for the purpose of inspiring others to change. So I'll begin with the story. 8 years ago I started 13 years ago I started watching porn. So I started watching porn when I was 12, and at first, it was a fun thing to do. I did it with my friends, and over the years it turned kind of into like a repetitive thing where I did it 2-3 times a day. And when I was 16, I started to have a lot of social anxiety. I dealt with a lot of like personal issues, and I felt uncomfortable with myself all the time. And that's when I realized I needed to change something. And I kind of dabbled in like this world for a little bit. I didn't really know what I was doing until one of my friends at the age of 18 introduced me to a subreddit called NoFap. And I started to read the stories on NoFap. And a lot of the guys, what they were posting is that they were getting superpowers, that they felt really, really good about themselves, that they grew a beard in just a week. And I wanted a beard, I wanted to be a man. And so I followed their advice and I tried to quit masturbating. And at the time, I didn't really have a clear definition of what NoFap meant. I just thought that it meant like to stop masturbating. So my focus was purely on overcoming masturbation and just doing semen retention. And I did it for 4 years on and off. I would get to like day 2, day 3, day 4, sometimes I get to a week, and eventually at one point I got to day 30. But it took a lot of effort, it took a lot of like setting up or preparation to get to that point. I could never really overcome it just by the use of willpower. I had to set up like punishments, and I had to find accountability buddies, and I had to kind of like do challenges to myself to get to that point. And throughout my whole experience with NoFap, I felt like at the beginning I felt like a lot of benefits. Some days I would have days where I felt really clear, I felt really focused, I felt really confident about myself. And this was, yes, a direct result of just not masturbating for like a week or so. And I remember when I got to day 30, I felt really good about myself and really confident. But there was still kind of like an underlying social anxiety that I was going through. And I still couldn't really understand why I felt anxious when I got to day 30 of NoFap. So I kept on looking for answers, and I kept on looking for answers because, again, I haven't still overcome like this addiction to masturbation. And then I realized that porn was actually causing a lot of my anxiety, or that's what I thought, because I read a lot of experiences from other people, and they were saying like, oh, it's not masturbation, it's actually porn that's causing you your anxiety, making you feel like shit. So then I found a community called Porn Free on Reddit also, and these guys were more focused on overcoming porn. They said that the root cause to your social anxiety and to you feeling insecure about yourself was because you're watching porn, not because you're masturbating. And then a big realization hit me, and I was like, oh my god, like I've been doing it wrong this whole time. I should actually be focusing on overcoming this instead of this. And so I switched my mind completely, and then masturbation wasn't really such a harsh thing anymore. It was pornography that was destroying me. So then the next 3 to 4 years I focused on overcoming pornography. anxious. And I focused on overcoming pornography. And again, I kind of did the same thing where I used like punishments. If I got an urge and if I gave in, I had to like give money to someone, or maybe I had to post something embarrassing on social media, or I had to what else did I do? Or I set up like porn blockers so that I couldn't access any photos or any videos, and that kind of worked for a little bit. It got me sort of to a week or 2 weeks or even a month, but still I kept coming back to porn. And that's because fundamentally I was addicted to it. I did it for so long that my brain couldn't live without it, and my reality was based on having porn in my life. Otherwise I felt weird. And sometimes I would get to day 30 I was like, okay, so this is it, I made it. But then I realized that I was still feeling anxious. I still went to a cafe or still socialized with a person, and that anxiety was still there, and I was so far along, so I couldn't really understand where that shit was coming from. I did it for 3-4 years after that, so 8 years in total, 4 years of NoFap and about 4 years of no PMO, and I was still feeling anxious. And at the beginning I had this expectation of like, if I just do these things and if I just commit to them, I'm gonna feel great about myself. And that partly was true, because I did get some benefits from it. When I stopped watching pornography, I felt better about myself. I felt more honest. I felt more clear. But at the same time, I still had this underlying social anxiety thing going on. And the deeper I looked into it, the more I realized that this anxiety was actually stemming from my childhood trauma. Because when I was a kid, I had a lot of experiences where I was bullied, where people took advantage of me, and all that shit, And then another realization hit me, is that actually masturbation and pornography is not the complete thing. If you overcome it, not everything is going to change. You're still going to have those problems, you're still going to have those traumas, you're still going to have like external things that are going to stress you out to make you feel a certain way. So overcoming pornography and overcoming masturbation wasn't it. It was only sort of like a little part of it. And obviously if you do overcome it, you're gonna feel a little bit better about yourself, because you're living more honestly and you're not engaging in these like dishonest activities. And obviously when you're watching pornography, what pornography does, it affects you psychologically. So it makes you feel guilty, because pornography is seen as sort of a taboo thing in society. So if you're watching porn, subconsciously your brain makes you feel dishonest, and because of that dishonesty you feel guilt when you're around people. And it's not something that you will kind of realize consciously. It's something that will just affect you subconsciously, so you won't really when you're getting that anxiety, like the thought of dishonesty and guilt won't be conscious. It will just be a thing that you feel around people. But yeah, after the 8-year war with porn and masturbation, I finally quit. So now I've been porn free for the past 2-3 months. Sometimes I still masturbate, but it's more intentional. It's more because I practice tantra and I want to last longer. But the thing I realized that masturbation, it definitely affects you. If you masturbate too often, you become weak and you become lazy. But if you don't masturbate enough, what happens to you is you become really frustrated and angry, because you have all of this energy and you need to release it somehow. And yes, you could release it through doing sports, through exercising, but I think a more healthier way for a young man is to have sex or to masturbate. Do it at least once a week, so you're kind of cleaning out your pipes and you're letting your body create new cum. And yeah, this is gonna make you feel a lot more better because your body is constantly, you know, making new sperm and all of that. And also add exercise to it, you know, release that energy in other ways, like join martial arts or do something active, because this is gonna make you feel good. And the other side is the pornography. Pornography affects you psychologically. So what it does, again, it creates guilt in you because pornography is seen as a taboo thing in society. So if you're watching porn, you're gonna feel really guilty about yourself, and this guilt will affect your body too, because your mind affects your body. So again, subconsciously, you're gonna have guilt all the time in the background, and that's gonna make you feel weird, make you feel tense, and all of that. So that's kind of what I realized with my experience with this. And yeah, the last thing is like quitting pornography and quitting masturbation is not going to solve all your problems. You know, it's only a little part that you can do to improve how you feel, but there is still going to be things that will affect you externally, like the people around you, the work that you do, the habits that you have on a daily basis. You know, those things are going to have a tremendous effect on you. So life is a bitch, you know, and there's a lot of things that we have to do to kind of keep ourselves healthy and happy and in balance. It's not just, you know, you do this, you quit this, and you feel amazing. It doesn't work like that. So it's much more, it's better to have kind of a rounded perspective that you have to do many other things, like, for example, work on your career, you know, try to develop your own business or something, so that way you're free in the future and you're making a lot of money. Make sure that you're socializing on a daily basis, you know, so you're going out, you're talking to people, you're having fun, you're meeting friends, making sure that you invest some time in educating yourself, learning new skills, making sure that you are exercising on a daily basis, making sure that you're eating really healthy, you know. So there's all of these other aspects of life that you have to focus on to just feel good about yourself. And that's the thing about being human. It's really hard to keep a balanced state as a human, because you have to do so many things to be in balance. And that's all.